Now I take privilege to invite the one and only Prime Minister of Guyana, His Excellency Moses Veerasamy Nagamutu, to give away his beautiful speech for the gathering. Thank you so much.
Panakam, thank you. I think the tribute that was paid to me just now is better paid to Madam Chair. As I was making my way from Guyana on Tuesday, I handed over the Prime Minister's chair to a girl for the second year to become Prime Minister for the day. The President handed over his seat also as President of Guyana for a day, because we believe in the empowerment of our girls, of our women. And I want to pay the first tribute to the lovely lady who chaired these proceedings so beautifully. Secondly, I'd like to pay compliments to Dr. Sampat. He's a genius, not only in terms of organization, but I've seen him today before this microphone, and as he was filibustering, I was trying to figure out if I had ever seen a politician as good as Dr. Sampat, and whether his filibuster would succeed in making a speech to last as long as it took the Chief Minister to get here. But more importantly, I developed a fear of Dr. Sampat. If ever I were to be fighting in court as a lawyer against him, I think he will charm the jurors to such an extent that they will beg him, don't proceed, I let your client go. Very persuasive, Dr. Sampat. And of course, having taken us this far today, I believe there are very few words remaining for me to say. I'd like to thank the Chief Minister, His Excellency Narayanasamy, for receiving me in Pondicherry. And when I saw him before the microphone also just now, not only was I impressed by someone who obviously is an experienced politician, a knowledgeable politician, but he also, like Dr. Sampat, drove that feeling in me that he is an awesome opponent if ever he became your opponent on the other side. He's a fantastic orator. I've listened to him delivering his speech without a pause. Thank you for having us in Pondicherry. And just as I remarked just now that I had given up my seat as Prime Minister for a day, symbolically to a young lady, I also felt vindicated that I gave up the feature address to a young man, Vayapuri, His Excellency, the Acting President of Mauritius, for an extraordinary address that captured the essence of this movement. This is not a conference. Meeting for the 5th time, you have now become a movement that has brought together some of the finest investors, businessmen, entrepreneurs, call them what you will, innovators, thinkers, intellectuals, scholars, all with one thing in common, that you either are a Tamil or you have Tamil ancestry. And it shows that you are persons of worth. And this networking, meeting year after year, will become a massive movement where you could make a difference not only in Tamil Nadu, not only in Pondicherry and in southern India, but you could make a difference in the world. I came from a country where Tamils are perhaps less than 4% of the indentured laborers who went from southern India to Guyana within a British colony. And I can tell you that with 4% of the population, they produce the first prime minister of Tamil ancestry in Guyana. And perhaps, as Dr. Sampath said, an example in the world, and the young minister from Mauritius reminded us of the importance of moving a small island state into the world of IT as one of their fastest growing sectors of the economy. It takes brain power, intellectual power, and innovation to move into the digital age and to compete with the first worlds. This movement can do better than that. We could work with minorities around the world, wherever we are, and minorities can help us make a difference. I came from a country where two parties had dominated the country for 50 years since our independence. And by a token of opening up your arms wide and showing your heart to everyone, we were able for the first time in the history of Guyana to bring 6 political parties together into a coalition from every ethnicity in the country. And we won an election by bringing together minorities to form a common government for a united country. Here I have met people from all political parties in India, and they have all received me kindly, and my wife, and my daughter, my son-in-law, and our High Commissioner, Dr. David Pollard, who is here with us and based in Delhi. We are received by all parties as friends. And so today I want to say, in this movement that you call a Tamil movement, you could transform societies if we work with those who by themselves do not have the source of empowerment, which is cohesion, which is inclusion, which is to be able to make our differences the beauty of our life and not the enemy of our societies. And so that is what, in being honored today to share the platform with the distinguished presence of all great leaders in their own societies, former ministers, former mayors. It is also a story that I want to share. I know we are all hungry. We can live, in addition to words, we can live with some food now and then. So I'll be very brief. I have to share an experience with you. I visited Guadeloupe last year, and I went to a place where the French had a dungeon, a fortress. And in a tiny spot, I was shown the tomb, the collective tomb, perhaps of a number of indentured servants or laborers who had gone from Pondicherry to Guadeloupe. And as I looked at the names, I saw familiar names of people that I would have found in Guyana: Veerasamy, Narayanasamy, Ramasamy. And I left there with a heavy heart, having asked why were so many Tamils buried in a common place. And I was told that they were all rebellious. They fought the French in Guadeloupe, the French planters, in much the same way that Tamils in Guyana fought the British planters. And they were thrown out of the plantocracy, the plantations, and placed next to freed African slaves. The British might have thought that that was a disadvantage to disable the courageous Tamils, but the Tamils joined forces with the Africans, and they developed intercultural appreciation, inter-ethnic cooperation. They developed a relationship that later blossomed into the six-party coalition I spoke to earlier. But I also walked away from Guadeloupe with this feeling: how is it possible that in one place you have so many swamis being martyrs? And so the Tamils, of course, have produced swamis who died for great causes outside of their native India. And so just as their lives and the bones and the blood have fertilized the countries to where they were sent, I invite you as businessmen and women, as investors, to go to these places, because it's part of you. It's part of your heritage, of your sacrifice, of your history, of your ethnicity, your culture that has been planted in other continents, in other places, perhaps within other nationalities, among other races. We are part of the rainbow coalition of the world. And our presence here today should imbue us in confidence that in the past we were victims of indentureship. We must turn indentureship into investment, and to invest in the economies that are complementary. You have the capital, we have the land, the fertile soil, we have the clean water, we have the fresh air. We have the resources that could accommodate your decision to go to all these countries that are populated, even in small numbers, by your relatives, who we must now make partners. So this is my message to you today, that I am happy, delighted, and honored to be here. And I did not intend to say I was grappling with my hunger and my throat and my jet-laggedness, not thinking I could say anything, because Guyana's High Commissioner is here, and I've asked for him to have sidebars with as many delegates as you could find here, to tell them about the wonderful opportunities there are in Guyana for investment, a country that is on the cusp of developing its oil and gas resources. An estimated 4 billion barrels of oil have been discovered recently, And the door is wide open for investors to help us to build not only an oil and gas industry, which is new to us, but also to be able to make Guyana's land resources into the green state of the Caribbean, the green state of Latin America, the green state that is awaiting capital and technology to develop so that we can help to feed the world. Because in the last resort, we cannot depend on oil resources alone. We'll have to pursue the agenda of developing in a very unique way a country with 80% forests, virgin forests, into a model in the world. And you could make that happen, and you will be rewarded once you're an honest investor, once you obey the laws of the country, and once you are determined that you have to share the wealth that Guyana has to offer. Thank you for having us. I wish this conference great success, and I take great delight and pleasure in inaugurating this historic meeting in Pondicherry. Thank you. And the second word, Nandri.
That was indeed beautiful. I once again take this opportunity to thank the Prime Minister of Guyana, His Excellency Moses Veerasamy Nagamutu, for his message, and his wife, Mrs. Sita Nagamutu, for coming all the way from Guyana and inaugurating our conference. Now, I would call upon the Honorable Deputy Speaker of Pondicherry Assembly, the Chairman of Reception Committee, the VP Sivakolundu, to deliver the vote of thanks.